Well, I'd say that they've pretty much done it again. I had basically completely sworn off buying more drum libraries, but then GetGood Drums dropped the One Kick Wonder Architects drum library, and I really didn't even have to think about it. It was a no-brainer. Pretty much instant purchase. Architects is just like one of my top 5 favorite bands. So once I saw that they had dropped that, I immediately bought the drum set, and just let me tell you, it sounds really, really great. For those of you who don't know, GetGood Drums is a drum library company from Adam Nolly GetGood of Periphery, and the One Kit Wonder series is their series of drum sets for those of us who are less interested in mixing raw drum sounds and more so interested in writing and demoing songs with mix-ready drum sets. In the demo that you just heard, there was absolutely no post-processing on the drum channels themselves. There was some compression on the drum bus channel, and then I had the drum channel sent to a reverb just to kind of make it mesh with some of the other instruments I had in the mix. But other than that, there was absolutely no post-processing on the drums whatsoever. While I don't think my mix sounded radio ready by any means, I think if you were to take someone who was much more experienced with mixing and just had a better ear than I currently do at this moment, I think that they could take this drum sound and mix around it, and it would sound huge and just would be pretty much perfect for modern metal in my opinion. And this is probably my favorite drum set that they've done so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at how I made this demo. So all the guitars in this song were recorded with my ESP LTD KS7 through my Kemper. I'm using a Josh Middleton crank profile, and bass is Eurobass 2. It's also a virtual instrument from Submission Audio, and the drums are obviously GetGood Drums, One Kit Wonder Architects. Tell me you produce metal in your bedroom without telling me you produce metal in your bedroom. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual tracks themselves in Logic. Okay, so I'm in Logic, and let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the individual channels in my guitars, the leads I did, the actual drums themselves, the bass, and then some effects and stuff that I did as well, and then just some processing. I've been listening to a lot of Beartooth recently, and so that kind of led me to take a little bit more of like a hardcore approach with some of these riffs, especially the intro riff sounded a bit more hardcore. That's this riff I'm talking about. Also, this kind of like bass breakdown is something that I heard in a recent Beartooth song that I wanted to go ahead and throw into my own kind of song as well. And that's also pretty much the main reason why I have the drum reverb going. So whenever you have just the bass and the drum and you throw those in a room, it just makes it sound way bigger in my opinion. Let's talk about this intro effect that I have on the stereo and on this guitar. So on this left guitar, I'm automating the panning. You can see this pan knob move. Yeah, so that's moving back and forth for some panning, but then all of the actual effects are on the stereo themselves. Is on the stereo channel. I have this fuzz wah that's actually just a Logic thing. That's kind of just adding some fuzz and doing a little bit of a wah motion. And then also this room reverb from Valhalla. And all that is kind of adding together to affect the drums and that one guitar, and that sounds like this. So after that, I wanted to just kind of keep the riff going, and I wanted to do that as an intro and then have 2 more bars of that basically. Added a lead guitar to the second half of that to add a little bit more tension before we kind of go into that, like what I call as a riff down. I think the second riff on this is kind of a riff down. It kind of breaks down a little bit, but it's really riffy. This is what that lead sounds like. And that's going into the riff down. I love a good riff stop with the snare going da 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 da. Also got a Drum Forge sub drop right there on my effects channel. That's really the only effects I did throughout the whole thing. And then it breaks down even more. I'll mute these leads. Breaks down even more, kind of getting ready, setting the stage for the actual breakdown. Kind of just sets the tone right here with this riff. And what really makes it sound cool and like really ominous is this lead that I put over that. Drops out. I think first thing of note is to take a look at this. I made a separate channel for this particular bass part because I'm affecting it with FabFilter Saturn. I have one band that's pretty much like that high mids all the way down to the subs. It's just on the warm tube preset, and that drives all the way up. But then I'll have another one that's old tape that makes it sound a lot like fuzzier. And this is what that sounds like. You can really hear the room reverb on that. That paired with the drums is just wild. And then pretty much the riff just follows the bass, but I'm playing the octaves. That's a lot of parts kind of condensed down to a really short period, but I think that there are some ideas here that could go into another song. Let's take a look at the drums themselves really quickly. So really, I programmed all these by hand for the most part. Sometimes whenever I have like a particular bass pattern or something I want to follow, I will pull up, just use my MIDI keyboard or pull up like the virtual MIDI keyboard with your keys, and I will do pretty much just the bass pattern with my fingers, and then I will quantize that and then put the snares and the other stuff where I want it to go. But just so it didn't sound like overly kind of consistent, I pretty much just go basically like every other note to kind of stimulate there being like a little bit of sway or like a little bit of like inconsistency with the feet. I go pretty much every other note and we'll turn that up a little bit, and that kind of just makes it sound like it's not as much of a, you know, like a robot playing it for the most part. Those toms sound pretty huge. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do all the way through the whole song. You can take a look at this fill. On that last 4 notes, you can hear it kind of building up. In some of the other libraries, they have like a flam, but they don't have that on this. They just have to put the 2 notes right beside one another, which is not a big deal. But yeah, all of the drums are this One Kit Wonder Architects kit, and it's just on the Good to Go preset. So I literally just opened up the software and just started writing. I did not touch the software inside of Contact at all. These are all the original settings. You pull it up like that, and it's all exactly like this. So, like I said earlier though, I do have this FG Gray doing, I guess at any given point we're doing around 3 to 5 decibels of gain reduction on a 3-to-1 ratio, an automatic release, and a pretty fast attack. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this little song run through, and I really recommend you check out GetGood Drums. They're doing a Black Friday sale right now, just like everyone else. You can get pretty much the whole website is like 50% off, so pick this up. I think you can get this library for $40 or $50 right now. I love Architects. I know a lot of you guys love Architects, so if you're into that modern metal drum sound, definitely check out this drum library. If you enjoyed today's video, please do hit that like button as well as the subscribe button if you would like to see more videos from me in the future. See you guys in the next one.